Archangel Michael has fought off a curse in your name, but the energy is returning fast. If you don't watch this now, it may be too late to stop it again. This message arrives in the midnight hour, a divine moment when heaven leans low and whispers not to the crowd, but to the called. This is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. You are hearing this because your name has been spoken in the courts of heaven, and a verdict hath been rendered. Archangel Michael, the commander of the Lord's army, was dispatched not for the multitudes, but for you. Yes, you. This message is heaven's urgent scroll unrolling before your spirit, not for everyone, but for those marked by divine purpose. There are realms moving even now. Forces that once bowed in defeat have begun to stir again. The battle that was won in silence has provoked an aftershock in the spirit. A curse was broken. The demonic contracts were torn. But the enemy never accepts loss easily. What was once defeated now seeks to return, and it comes stronger, more deceptive, more determined. Michael stood in battle for your name before. He shattered the assignments that were written in darkness. He silenced the curses muttered in secret. And you were preserved not because of chance, but because of covenant. Because heaven said, not this one. This one is mine. You are marked, chosen, and covered. But the covering demands your cooperation. The mantle requires your movement. And now, heaven warns again. The dark winds are shifting. The resistance you feel is not imagined. It is the echo of spiritual retaliation. This is not a message for the lukewarm, not for the casually curious. This is a call to the front lines for those who carry the mark of divine calling. You are one of them. That's why your sleep hath been restless. That's why your atmosphere feels unstable. That's why your name hath been stirred in places you cannot see. You've entered a cycle where silence is safety, stillness is strategy, and obedience is the only shelter. Do not delay. Do not dismiss this. The delay is to give time for the curse to grow stronger. To dismiss this is to undo what heaven has already secured. Stand in the stillness. Listen with your spirit. The time is now, and heaven is watching. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Archangel Michael speaks, not from afar, but from within the sacred chamber of spiritual warfare, where your name has already echoed in fire. He has stood on your behalf before. Not once, not twice, but many times in the unseen places. The sword was drawn. The heavens thundered. Your bloodline, your path, your purpose, they were all under siege. And it was Michael who stood. It was Michael who fought. It was Michael who crushed what had been crafted in secrecy. But now, the cycle begins to turn again. This is not an ordinary moment. This is a divine alarm. Something is moving. Something has already been triggered. In the next 48 hours, the very energy that once sought to bind you is circling back. And it does not return empty-handed. It returns with a new strategy. It returns with spiritual reinforcement. The demons that failed the first time are rallying others, because the mission was not only to destroy you, it was to prevent who you are becoming. You feel it already, don't you? This is why your spirit had been restless in the night. This is why your atmosphere has been disturbed. This is why certain people from the past have resurfaced. This is why arguments come from nowhere. This is why the dreams have been heavy and the air thick with pressure. Your body is on earth, but your spirit is already fighting in dimensions unseen. Hear this clearly. You did not stumble upon this message. Heaven led you here. This is not content. This is a clarion call. Not everyone will understand it. Not everyone can understand it. Because not everyone has been marked. Not everyone has had an archangel draw a sword for their name. But you have. You've been chosen. And because of that, you're being challenged. Michael's sword has already cut through spiritual wires laid as traps. He has already intercepted the arrows launched by jealous mouths. But heaven will not fight where there is no agreement. This is your moment of alignment. This is your hour of intercession. This is your divine yes in the face of invisible war. And heaven is watching, not just how you feel, but how you respond. There is an urgency in the spirit. The countdown has begun. What reattaches now has the power to multiply. If you let it pass, if you sit in silence, if you shrug this off, then what was once defeated will rise again, wearing a new face. This time, more cunning. This time, cloaked in false familiarity. This time, disguised as opportunity or reconciliation. But it is deception. It is a doorway to destruction. You must wake up. You must rise in awareness. The angels are moving, but they await your posture. If you tremble, the curse presses in. If you stand, the darkness is pushed back. Your strength is not in your hands. It is in your alignment. Michael has stood. Now you must stand too. Not with panic, but with posture. Not in fear, but in focus. The next 48 hours are critical. The next 2 days are not ordinary. You are being watched, not only by God, but by what opposes God. What you do now will open or close gates in the realm of spirit. Choose obedience. Choose silence. Choose watchfulness. And let the hosts of heaven war again in your name. Type I receive the sword of Michael in the comments. Blessing code 777 is activating your defense. There are eyes watching you, not the eyes you see, but the ones you feel. There are presences lurking on the edge of your atmosphere, cloaked not in shadows, but in silence. People who smile in your presence yet murmur in your absence. Spirits who mimic kindness but harbor agendas crafted in jealousy. You can't quite name it. You can't quite prove it. But you sense it. And that sense is not paranoia. It's prophecy. The realm of spirit has no language for coincidence. What feels like tension is often the tremor of a spiritual shift. What you feel right now, the unease, the suspicion, the sudden shift in certain relationships, these are not random. They are not mood swings. They are spiritual warnings. Something has changed behind the scenes, and your name is on more lips than you realize. They're whispering. They are speculating. They are stirring. But listen closely. Not every whisper is human. Some whispers come from ancient altars, voices of past curses, family traumas, word curses spoken by wounded people operating in bitterness. Spirits assigned to monitor you have been agitated by your recent growth. Every time you spoke life over yourself, it disrupted a demonic assignment. Every time you resisted the temptation to react, you broke the rhythm of retaliation. And now, they are recalculating. There are watchers, both human and spiritual, who have been assigned to monitor your next move. And they don't need access to your heart. They only need access to your pattern. That's why you must break your rhythm. That's why the Holy Spirit is urging you into silence, into secrecy, into guardedness. Because what's forming in your life next cannot survive in polluted environments. You're not imagining the disconnection. Certain people are pulling away because their assignment is complete. Others are drawing closer, but their intention is unclear. And still others are hovering, saying little but listening much. There are those collecting information, not offering intercession. They want data, not destiny. Be warned. The trap is not always loud. Sometimes it wears the face of curiosity. Sometimes it's disguised as concern. You may feel emotionally disoriented right now, as if things that once felt stable are shaking. That's because heaven is rearranging your circle. The curse that Michael broke in your name had roots in relationship. It had access through conversations you never knew were dangerous. You were too open, too transparent, too trusting. And while your heart was pure, the atmosphere wasn't. But this time is different. Heaven is refining you through discomfort. You are being trained to discern without evidence, to protect without explanation, to sense without needing proof. Your inner unrest is not a problem. It is a divine compass. The emotional confusion, the relational tension, the quiet distance, and all of it is preparation. God is hiding you in plain sight. He is severing connections that cannot go where you're headed. You've asked for elevation, but elevation requires separation. You've asked for clarity, but clarity comes at the cost of comfort. This is not punishment. It's protection. Let the mystery remain. You don't need all the answers right now. What you need is alignment. What you need is trust. What you need is stillness while heaven handles the conversations happening in rooms you will never enter. Heaven fights for you in silence. And so must you. Type "I am hidden" in God in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 414 is releasing divine invisibility around you. Just as Archangel Michael wars on your behalf in the unseen, so this message was sent to awaken and protect souls across the world. Every time you support this prophetic broadcast, whether through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal seed, you're not giving to a screen. You're sowing into a spiritual battlefield, funding the very words that break curses and activate destinies. Give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. That isn't just scripture, it's your portion. Your support unlocks rivers of revelation for others and oil for your own altar. I heard the Spirit say, if they will pour, it will overflow. If your spirit stirred during this message, this is your moment to move prophetically. Give with purpose. Give with faith. Give with fire. You can also support the mission by sowing directly through PayPal. The link is in the video description. Let your giving be an act of spiritual warfare. Release your seed. Heaven is watching. Don't delay. Don't hesitate. Act. Listen closely, for what you are enduring is not random hardship. It is a targeted assault on your destiny, not your present alone, but the very blueprint of your calling. This conflict is spiritual. This shaking is strategic. This pressure is prophetic. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are under attack because you are anointed. The curse did not target you because you are small. It came for you because you carry something eternal. What lives inside of you threatens the dark systems assigned to delay generations. And so, darkness has taken notice. When Archangel Michael stood in war for your name, it was not a symbolic gesture. It was a legal act in the courts of heaven, an intervention that rewrote the outcome of an ancient warfare. The curse that once held your bloodline in cycles of pain, delay, betrayal, and confusion was severed. But here's what you must understand. Curses don't die quietly. They echo. They evolve. And when they sense a breach, they return stronger, wiser, cloaked in something that looks familiar but is far more dangerous. You may be wondering why now. Why, after peace finally seemed possible, does chaos feel like it's lurking again? Why do doors you thought were sealed now seem vulnerable? Because what was once cast out has circled back, looking not for weakness, but for permission. You must remember this. Every spiritual curse needs agreement. It cannot simply enter. It cannot simply invade. It needs your words, your reactions, your emotional vulnerability, anything that opens a spiritual legal gate. Fear is an invitation. Bitterness is an agreement. Complaining is a contract. But faith is resistance. Obedience is your fortress. Silence is your sword. The enemy has no access unless you hand it over. This is the war you now face, not of swords and flesh, but of spirit and response. The atmosphere is watching. Heaven is watching. Hell is watching. And how you respond in this moment will either reinforce your covering or compromise your calling. You are not being attacked because you are off course. You are being tested because you are closer than ever to the breakthrough long prophesied over your life. This is not about today's feelings. This is about tomorrow's fruitfulness. This is not just about you. It's about the generations tied to your obedience. If the enemy can stop you here, he silences a lineage of deliverers. But if you endure this, if you hold the line, if you do not break, then the curse will shatter completely, and it will never return again. You've seen signs already. Unusual resistance, strange disruptions, delays that don't make sense, emotional exhaustion with no clear source. These are spiritual signatures. The battle is active, not because you've done something wrong, but because you've done something right. You move in faith. You close old doors. You rejected manipulation. And the decision triggered warfare. But take courage. You are not alone in this. Michael stands again. He is positioned, sword drawn, watching how you respond. Not with anxiety, but with expectancy. Because heaven has already seen your victory. But that victory must be walked out, step by step, with divine discipline. Do not give in to distractions. Do not be baited into reactions. Do not rehearse old pain with your words. Hold the line. The attack may feel personal, but it is deeply prophetic. You are being positioned, refined, tested, and heaven will reward your obedience in ways you cannot yet imagine. Every trial is forming in you the authority to walk in new realms. Every pressure is proof that the curse has lost its grip, and now it tries to regain what no longer belongs to it. Stand still, warrior of light. Michael is with you. The war is holy, and victory is still yours. if you respond in faith. Type "I will not break" in the comments if this word is for you. Blessing code 333 has just wrapped around your spirit with heavenly armor. Hear this as a trumpet in the spirit. The energy that once sought to bind you has not disappeared. It has been lingering, circling, waiting. It could not pierce you before because Archangel Michael intercepted it. It could not reattach because heaven had already broken its grip. But now it returns with greater cunning, cloaked in delay, masked in distraction, and wrapped in familiar names and old patterns. Within 3 days, the pressure will intensify. You will feel it in the atmosphere. You will feel it in your relationships. You will feel it in your spirit. The enemy is moving again. Not loud, not obvious, but strategic. He comes not to startle you, but to subtly seduce you into spiritual slumber. If you're not careful, the curse will not shout. It will whisper. It will slip back in through old conversations. Through that one message. That one text. That one opportunity that looks like favor but smells like bondage. What was once broken is now testing for weakness. It is probing for access. It is seeking an opening. There are forces forming in secret, people talking when you're not in the room, spirits stirring behind their words, assignments being formed behind false apologies and unexpected invitations. The enemy is crafty, and this time he will not use an open door. He will use a cracked window, just enough to send in his breath, just enough to reawaken confusion, just enough to reattach what heaven already severed. Do not let your guard down. This next phase of warfare is not about brute force. It is about permission. The curse cannot dominate unless you receive it again. It cannot invade unless you entertain it again. Your discernment is your weapon. Your silence is your protection. Your obedience is your escape. Heaven has not left you unprotected. Michael is still stationed. The angels are still assigned. But divine assistance can only activate where there is spiritual alignment. You must stay aligned. You must stay covered. You must stay hidden under the shadow of the Almighty. Do not expose yourself to the familiar voices you've already been delivered from. Do not return to the patterns you wept to be free from. The return of this energy is not coincidence. It is confrontation. You are being tested. You are being watched. You are being weighed in the spirit. And what happens in these next 72 hours will determine whether the curse shatters once and for all, or if it finds legal access to linger, to fester, to infect once again. You are not the same person you were when the battle first began. You have grown. You have shifted. You have evolved. But that also means the enemy has adjusted. He's studied your movement. He's reviewed your breakthrough. And now, he is launching a counterstrike. But here is what he doesn't know. You've learned how to war in the stillness. You've learned how to discern the storm before it forms. You've learned how to speak only what heaven authorizes. You've learned how to hold your tongue when provoked, how to withhold your trust when manipulated. That wisdom is your weapon now. Use it. Do not assume you have time. The next 3 days are prophetic. Decisions made in this window will echo into your next season. You must stay sharp. Stay separate. Stay sealed. The energy seeks re-entry, but heaven still offers defense if you will stand in divine instruction. Michael is waiting. Your angels are watching. The curse is circling. But you must choose alignment. Type "I choose alignment" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 888 is unlocking a divine firewall around you. Now is not the time to speak. Now is not the time to explain, to justify, to react. Now is the hour of holy stillness, the sacred silence where divine strategy unfolds and heavenly protection is activated. The curse that once sought to break you is circling back, not with chaos, but with noise. It comes disguised in arguments, misunderstandings, sudden invitations to old patterns, sudden pulls into unnecessary conflict. But do not be deceived. These are not moments to engage. They are traps to bait your voice, to draw your energy, to unlock doors you already shut. Be still, child of the Most High. Michael stands at your gates. Sword drawn, wings spread, guarding the perimeters of your assignment. But he moves only in sync with your posture. If you rage, he must step back. If you retaliate, he must wait. For heaven cannot fight where pride or panic is present. Stillness is not weakness, it is warfare. Silence is not surrender, it is strategy. Your quiet obedience becomes the command that mobilizes angels in your favor. Withdraw from unnecessary conversations. Withdraw from explaining your process to people who are spiritually blind. Withdraw from trying to prove yourself to those who never saw your anointing. The energy that is seeking to return is looking for familiar sounds, words of fear, words of gossip, words of grief, words of pain. But when you remain silent, when you speak only what God ordains, you strip the curse of its legal language. The power of life and death is in your tongue, and in this hour, your silence is a shield. Stay low. Stay hidden. Stay guarded. Heaven is not asking you to be passive. It is commanding you to be precise. Move only when God says move. Speak only what the Spirit breathes. Everything else is noise, and that noise is how the enemy finds openings. Many lose their protection not through sin, but through speech. They speak too soon. They post too fast. They respond out of emotion. And in doing so, they activate what heaven had already silenced. Do not fall into that trap. You are being preserved for something bigger. What's coming requires peace in your atmosphere. It requires clarity in your mind. And it requires angelic positioning to remain uninterrupted. You cannot afford to be dragged into petty battles. You cannot afford to relive traumas that were already healed. You cannot afford to explain your anointing to ears that were never meant to hear it. This next level is not about being understood. It is about being undisturbed. Michael is not just fighting. He is guarding. He is sealing the atmosphere around your breakthrough. He is holding back waves that would have drowned others. He is intercepting demonic frequencies you don't even perceive. But to keep him stationed, your alignment must remain intact. Let your silence thunder in the spirit. Let your stillness shake the realms of darkness. Let your restraint speak louder than any argument. And in that stillness, begin to speak divine affirmations that align you with heaven's defense. I am hidden in God. I am protected by the blood. I am covered by angels. I am sealed in obedience. Speak these not as wishes, but as weapons, declarations that build walls around your spirit and gates around your mind. This is your divine command. Do not move unless instructed. Do not speak unless anointed. Do not open unless heaven has authorized it. You are being trained in the language of kings and the posture of warriors. Be still, not because you are weak, but because your stillness commands angels. Type "I am shielded" in silence in the comments if this word confirms your spirit. Lesson code 2244 is now locking divine protection over your household. Let this be heard in the courts of heaven and echoed in the depths of hell. You are not the same. What once held you cannot hold you. What once labeled you no longer defines you. The energy that once tried to curse your name now trembles at your presence. You have been transformed by the fire. You have been refined by the battle. And though the enemy returns, it will not find the same version of you. The curse is seeking the old you, the broken you, the bitter you, the fearful you. But that version died in the fire of divine refinement. That version no longer exists. You are rising, and the realms know it. The tension you feel right now, the spiritual pressure, the unseen agitation, is not just an attack. It is a confirmation. It is proof that your wings are unfolding. It is proof that your spiritual altitude is changing. This is why the warfare feels heavier, because you're no longer walking, you're ascending. You are elevating beyond the reach of what once crippled you. Do you feel it? The air is different. The warfare is different. The distractions are more subtle, more tailored, more manipulative, because the old weapons no longer work. You've evolved. You've matured. You've learned the rhythm of the spirit. You've learned the value of silence. You've embraced the posture of stillness. You are no longer a target wandering aimlessly. You are a warrior assigned to realms, called to tear down strongholds not just for yourself, but for those connected to your lineage. This is why the enemy is desperate. This is why the curses are circling back. This is why old cycles are knocking, hoping you'll open the door in weakness or fatigue. But no, not this time. This time, you are standing in revelation. This time, you are walking in authority. This time, you are not responding from emotion, but from position. The fire that tried to burn you has refined you instead. The very attack the enemy launched became the process God used to equip you. You were not buried. You were planted. And now, you are sprouting forth with power the enemy cannot explain. Let this be the hour you speak to your spirit. I am not cursed. I am called. I am not breaking. I am birthing. I am not falling. I am flying. I am not the same. I have been made new. The sword of Michael was not drawn for someone insignificant. Heaven does not dispatch angels for someone weak. You were defended because your destiny is dangerous to darkness. That is your identity. That is your inheritance. You are stepping into the identity the enemy has long feared you would awaken to. This is why the attacks have come so often, so violently, and now, so subtly. But your awareness is your weapon. Your transformation is your shield. You are not who they once knew. And they cannot recognize this version of you, because this version has been wrapped in divine fire, baptized in stillness, sealed in silence, and awakened in glory. Let those who doubted you watch in silence. Let those who cursed you be silenced by your elevation. Let those who counted you out choke on the dust of your rising. Because this is the season of divine emergence. Stand tall. Speak little. Move only when God says move. And remember, every attack is proof of your promotion. The higher you go, the louder the resistance becomes. But do not fear it. It is only confirmation that you are no longer bound to the valley. You are walking in your wings now. You are living above the snake line. You are not the same. Type "I have risen" in the comments if this section lit a fire in your spirit. Blessing code 1010 is now unlocking divine elevation and visibility over your life. There is a door, unseen by human eyes, untouched by human hands, now swinging open in the spirit. It does not respond to status. It does not respond to popularity. It responds only to the obedience of the chosen. And you, beloved, are one of them. For the attacks you've endured were never random. The whispers, the warfare, the pressure, all of it was because of what's opening now. You didn't just survive hell. You outlasted it. And that endurance has become the key that fits the next level's lock. Listen carefully. There is an unlocking happening, right now, even as these words are spoken over you. Heaven is unsealing what was long delayed. This next door is not merely a blessing, it is a summoning. A prophetic calling into deeper purpose, divine positioning, and legacy-shifting assignments. And the energy that is trying to return is doing so because it can smell the oil. It can hear the turning of hinges in heaven. It knows that access is being granted to realms you were previously barred from. This is why Michael fought for you. This is why angels have been dispatched. Because your next step is not just movement, it is activation. And with that activation comes supernatural resistance. The enemy did not attack you over where you were. You warred against where you were going. And now that moment has arrived. The atmosphere is shifting. The silence you've walked in is now echoing in the spirit like thunder. Your yes has been heard. Your resistance hath been counted. And heaven is now ready to respond. Understand this. Every time you said no to the curse, you were saying yes to the crown. Every time you chose silence over strife, you were saying yes to authority. Every time you protected your peace instead of proving your point, you were stepping closer to the platform God is preparing. And now the revelation comes. This is not about survival anymore. This is about reign. The warfare wasn't punishment. It was preparation. A delay wasn't denial. It was divine development. And now, the curse that once kept you low is powerless to follow you higher. The door is opening because you passed the test. You held the line. You chose alignment. You resisted the cycle. And now, the reward is unfolding, not in the form of man's approval, but heaven's access. Let your spirit hear this loudly. Your name is known in heaven. It has been whispered in the presence of angels. It has been echoed in divine counsel. Your name is not just recorded in the Lamb's book of life. It is active in the movements of God on the earth. This is not flattery. This is fact. And that's why the darkness has reacted with such intensity. The realm of spirit knows who you are, even if you've only recently begun to see it yourself. You are standing at the threshold of divine manifestation. And this is your moment to realize everything you've gone through wasn't just about you. It was about the generation after you. The ones watching you. The ones that will come through you. The curse was after your voice because your voice carries deliverance. The attack was after your movement because your feet were made to walk in regions unclaimed. But heaven has spoken. The door is opening, and the oil of activation is now being poured over your head. Receive it. Type "the door is open" in the comments if this prophetic revelation confirmed your spirit. Blessing code 999 is releasing promotion, access, and glory. If this door is opening for you, imagine how many others are still trapped, still confused, still lost in the cycle. Your support isn't just generosity, it's divine warfare. Every gift through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal seed helps this word travel faster and farther into the lives of those who desperately need a revelation like this. The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. This is the moment to sow into breakthrough, not just yours, but for every soul this message will reach next. When you give, you're placing oil on someone else's door. You're helping angels deliver these divine scrolls to inboxes, timelines, and screens around the world. I feel it prophetically. Those who give in this moment will walk through unexpected doors before this month ends. Don't just watch this, war with it. The PayPal giving link is in the description if you feel led to sow into this fire. Let your giving become a prophetic act. Doors are opening. Seal it with a seed. Move now. Now is not the time to shrink back. Now is not the time to second-guess your worth, your calling, or your power. You have been carried through fire, preserved through storms, and covered in battles you didn't even know were happening. Archangel Michael did not fight on your behalf simply to bring you back to safety. He warred for you so you could step forward in purpose. You were not rescued to return to silence. You were redeemed to rise in destiny. This is the hour of activation. Not survival. Not maintenance. Not confusion. Activation. The heavens are waiting for your voice to align. The angels are standing at attention, waiting your next command. The Spirit of God is brooding over you, waiting to echo what you release in faith. No more delaying. No more doubting. No more rehearsing defeat. It's time to declare with boldness, I am aligned with my destiny. The words you speak now are not just declarations, they are blueprints. Your mouth must prophesy what heaven is building. Speak life into dry places. Speak breakthrough where resistance has stood. Speak resurrection into dreams that have been buried by fear. The curse tried to shove your confession, but your confession now has resurrection power. What you say will shape what you see. Say it again. I will not die in survival. I was made for destiny. This is why your atmosphere has felt intense, because your next level demands a new language. The words you used in the valley will not unlock the gates of your mountain. The frequency of fear will not survive in the corridors of purpose. You must rise above emotional noise and step into divine instruction. This is the moment to fast, to pray, to declare, to move, all in alignment with what heaven has revealed. You are no longer allowed to think small. You are no longer allowed to water down your authority for the comfort of others. You are no longer allowed to play it safe. That version of you was comfortable, but it was not called. That version of you blended in, but it was never meant to lead. You were always marked, but this is the moment you must embrace it. There's a stirring in your belly right now. It's not anxiety, it's awakening. Is your purpose growing to be birthed? The pain you feel isn't punishment. It's the final push before destiny is released. The silence, the separation, the stripping, It all positioned you to carry what others could not. And now, heaven is waiting for your yes. Not a passive yes, but an active agreement. Agree with God through action. Begin the fast. Write the vision. Clean the altar. Disconnect from what God told you to let go. Rebuild your daily rhythms to match the weight of your future. Because what's coming requires discipline. What's coming requires boldness. What's coming requires a vessel that knows how to say, "Here am I. Send me." Let this be your turning point. Not just a revelation, but a response. Let your spirit cry out. Let your hands be lifted not in confusion, but in commissioning. Heaven is not asking for perfection. It is asking for participation. Your breakthrough is waiting on your obedience. Your next level is not being withheld. It is being protected until your spirit matches its weight. So rise. Declare. Act. Zem. Live. You are no longer surviving. You are now stepping into what you were born to carry. Type "I am walking in destiny" in the comments if this word confirms your spirit. Blessing code 1155 is unlocking full alignment, obedience, and open paths before you. There is a sacred exchange happening even now, an invisible transaction between realms. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit knows. You felt it in the strange heaviness pressing on your chest when you tried to sleep. You felt it in the sudden tears you couldn't explain, in the trembling of your hands during prayer, in the restlessness of your nights. This is not ordinary warfare. This is a divine negotiation. While you were silent, heaven was speaking your name. This is what the enemy never wanted you to understand. Not all battles require your presence. Some victories are won in absence. While you were withdrawn. While you were hidden. While you were silent. The Lord Himself entered the courts of heaven with your name sealed in fire, and angels began to retrieve what was stolen. Curses that were once attached to your name are now being traded back for blessings. Chains that once bound your identity are now being melted into weapons. Heaven is making an exchange. This is the mystery of grace. While you felt forgotten, you were being fought for. While you wept in silence, angels were commanding assignments. While you questioned your worth, Michael stood at the gates with your name in his mouth. The energy that tried to curse you has now triggered your elevation. And in the silence, your restoration was written. Hear this: nothing lost is gone. Nothing taken is forgotten. Everything that was stolen, peace, confidence, relationships, finances, favor, is being divinely traced and retrieved. What you thought had expired was only stored. What you thought you missed was only paused. God is not rebuilding your life. He is redeeming it. He is taking the same pages the enemy tried to burn and writing them in holy fire. And while all this happens, while realms shift and angels move and Michael enforces heaven's decree, your assignment is to stay still, to stay hidden, to stay aligned. There is a divine silence you must honor. The kind of silence that is not weakness, but spiritual encryption. You are being covered in a cloud that the enemy cannot penetrate. Do not disturb the divine operation with unnecessary noise. Do not speak what you've already surrendered. Do not give language to what God has already silenced. You have entered a season of invisible advancement. You may not see the evidence yet, but the scroll has been released. The change has been authorized. The season has shifted. What was once held back is being handed over. The atmosphere will catch up to the decree, but the decree has already gone forth. You are not waiting on change. You are watching it manifest. This is why the nights feel strange. This is why your appetite has shifted. This is why the same words you used to pray now feel deeper, heavier, more urgent. Your spirit is catching up to what heaven already finalized. You are feeling the echo of the exchange. You are sensing the shift. And the enemy can feel it, too. He is nervous. He is desperate. Because the energy he sent to curse you has now become the confirmation of your next level. And he knows, once the exchange completes, he has no more access. So stay in the stillness. Let heaven finish the transaction. Let Michael carry the scroll. Let the Spirit finalize the details. You do not need to force it. You do not need to chase it. Just remain postured, positioned, and obedient. The silent war is becoming your public win. Type "I am in divine exchange" in the comments if your spirit bears witness. Blessing Code 2020 is activating restoration of what was stolen. The God you serve is not only merciful, he is just. And justice in the realm of the Spirit is not delayed. It is not dismissed. It is delivered in due season, and that season is now. Heaven has reviewed every weapon formed, every whisper spoken, every curse released, every delay orchestrated. And what once stood as a mountain before you is now being turned into a memorial of God's power. The same forces that gathered to sabotage you are now being used to elevate you. What was meant to bury you is now the soil from which your testimony will rise. The enemy thought he succeeded. He thought the curse he launched had stuck. He thought the betrayal had broken you. He thought the sabotage would silence you. But what he failed to account for was the hand of divine reversal. The moment Michael unsheathed his sword in your name, the script began to change. And now, the accuser has been silenced. The weapon has been dismantled. The judgment has shifted. This is spiritual justice. And it is unfolding now. The curse is spoken against you. They're being reversed. The lies that were told, exposed. The pits that were dug, now filled with the plans of your enemies. This is not revenge. This is righteous recompense. The very voices that misjudged your silence will now witness your sudden promotion. Those who partnered with darkness to delay you will be forced to watch as God fast-tracked your elevation. The weapon was real, but it did not prosper. And now it must backfire. Let this be known across the realms. A divine reversal is in motion. Heaven is not only delivering you, it is turning the narrative in your favor. The same people who question your calling will have no choice but to acknowledge it. The same systems that tried to deny you access will now call your name. The same energy that tried to reattach is now being routed, tenfold, against its sender. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to fight back. Your silence is already speaking. Your survival is already testifying. God is not only vindicating you, he is crowning you. He is setting a table before you in the presence of those who wished for your downfall. And not one seat will be empty. Because part of your vindication is not private peace, it is public honor. Every delay was storing interest. Every tear was counted. Every sigh in secret was a seed in the spirit. And now, the harvest is coming in waves. not only for you, but through you. Your breakthrough will break chains for others. Your testimony will tear down altars of gossip and witchcraft. What once mocked you will now magnify the name of God. Heaven has ruled. The curse is cried. The energy is reversed. And you will walk in full restoration. The scales are balancing. The records are being rewritten. Your hands, once heavy with warfare, are now about to carry favor. Let the enemy gnash his teeth. Let those who plotted groan in frustration. Let those who doubted you stand in awe. Because God himself has taken your case, and heaven never loses. So rise in strength. Walk in justice. Move in confidence. Your name has been cleared. Your voice has been loosed. Your future has been reclaimed. Type divine justice is mine in the comments if this word confirmed your journey. Blessing code 717 is now surrounding you with vindication, honor, and supernatural reversal. And now hear this. Beloved of God, the war was real, the curse was strong, but the covering is greater. Archangel Michael did not fight for someone casual. He stood in battle for someone called. The fight was fierce because the favor is heavy. You have been preserved not just for survival, but for demonstration, for evidence, for glory. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are chosen. This entire message was a divine alert, a spiritual broadcast echoing into your spirit like the sound of a trumpet in the night. The curse was broken once. The battle was already won. But it tried to return. It rushed to reattach, hoping you wouldn't notice, hoping you'd speak wrong, move prematurely, step out of alignment. But you heard heaven's voice. You received the warning. And now you have stood still. You have listened. You have been instructed. And now, the final seal is being applied. You are covered. You are guided. You are protected not just by words, but by a host. Michael remains stationed. The angels remain aligned. Heaven has encamped around your obedience. And as you step into these coming days, you will begin to feel the shift in your atmosphere. Where there was once static, there will now be serenity. Where there was confusion, now clarity. Where there was fear, now fire. This is your affirmation. This is your divine decree. You are not under attack. You are under acceleration. You are not being crushed. You are being crowned. You are not cursed. You are called. And your life will never be the same. Let no voice pull you out of peace. Let no situation drag you out of alignment. Let no familiar pattern trick you back into what heaven has already canceled. You are walking in divine enforcement now. Every step you take echoes with angelic backing. Every word you speak reverberates through realms. You are not moving alone. You are sent. And so I speak this final blessing over you. May the presence of God surround you like a fire. May Michael and his host remain assigned to your gates. May your name be spoken in rooms you've never entered. May every reattaching curse be burned at its root. And may the oil of divine instruction never run dry from your life. You are sealed in purpose. You are seen in the Spirit. And now, child of God, you are sent forth in supernatural strength. Type I am sealed in strength in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 4444 is sealing you in glory, obedience, and unstoppable protection. If this word was for you, if you felt it grip your spirit, cleanse your mind, and break something invisible, then know this: it's not just for you. It's for the thousands still waiting to hear a word that sets them free. When you support this channel through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal offering, you are igniting a spiritual wildfire that burns through chains, curses, and confusion across the world. This isn't a request. It's a divine opportunity to sow into a move of God. You refreshes others with himself due effect. And I prophesy now, every giver in this moment shall receive a sevenfold return of clarity, breakthrough, and unexpected favor before this month ends. If you've been fed, feed back into the altar. If you've been healed, honor the house that carried your word. Use the PayPal link in the description, or support directly here on YouTube, and do it with expectation, not hesitation. Bless what's blessing you, and watch heaven respond.